All right. Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for coming out to our corporate update. It's so good to see your smiling faces. I've seen a couple of you waving, so I'll wave back. All right. You know what? We're going to cover a couple quick reminders. We've also got a special guest to share some insights, and we will round out the call with David Brown, our CEO, as well as a special surprise at the end of this call. Just as a reminder, make sure you invite your teams out to join this call. When you bring on a new prospect, you can drop their name into the chat when they join, and we'll send you a special thank you. And you know, with everything that we do at ACTIVZ, we're always trying to help support our teams, our distributors, and make things that help empower them and their business to help them achieve their goals. Yesterday, we had a really cool meeting. 7 p.m. Tuesday nights is when we do a regular weekly meeting, but it's always different. Yesterday, we had our medical forum, and I wanted to turn some time to chat about that. Let's see, Angie, Stu, if you guys could chip in, what can you tell me about the medical forum, and what can distributors and prospects expect in further medical forum discussions?
Well, actually, so I'm typically on the medical forum every when we have those on the fourth Tuesday of every night. I missed the medical forum last night. It was my nephew's graduation, so we were with the family having dinner. But I know the person that hosted the call last night with Dr. Patel, who is Mr. David Brown, and I bet he could tell us about that. But before he jumps into it, we do have the recording of the medical forum call. We will post those on YouTube. So if you guys have not checked it out, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can watch the recording if you missed it. But I do advise that you guys join these calls live because we typically do raffles for reward points or other things. So make sure that you join our calls live if you're able to.
Excellent. And so, Mr. David Brown, what can you tell us about our medical forum?
Well, I'm just going to say, listen, if you weren't there, you missed it. So sorry, you're out of luck. Yeah. Kidding. It was actually a great call. Dr. Patel was on. We haven't heard from him in a while. I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about some of the things that he mentioned at the conclusion of this call. But I think that number one, I'd recommend that you all go and listen to the recording. Because actually what he did during that presentation was not so dissimilar from what we do every day, whether we're distributors, whether we're members of the corporate team. And he talked about his experiences in first overcoming his own skepticism about the products, despite his background with Ayurvedic and Indian medicine, but he's a Western trained physician, and so he had to get over that. Number two, he talked about looking into the science. He talks about his own personal experiences with the products that's made him a believer. He talked about sharing it with others, including family members, colleagues, patients, and their own personal experiences, which served to further strengthen his belief. And then he also gave some great insights into why really Optimend is a superior turmeric product compared to other ones that are out there. And he got into the reasons of including bioavailability, the use of the Psylocke and the DexKey system. And it's interesting, some of you that have listened to other presentations by our advisory board members over the years probably have noticed a progression in some of the things that they've talked about. Dr. Patel early on didn't talk much about the Psylocke system and the DexKey system. You can tell he's found out more about it and he's very impressed with it. But I think bottom line, like Stu said at the end of the call, the biggest takeaway is that whether you remember the technical details or not, the most important thing to remember is that he shared it with others. They saw benefits, and it was something that was he didn't have to worry about being too technical because they saw the benefits in their own lives, and so that's a real lesson for all of us. So I would highly encourage everyone to review that as well as all of the medical forum calls, because they really do provide a lot of great insights and information beyond that which we typically provide.
Excellent. Thank you, David. As part of those calls, one thing that I've been asked to do is to look at these calls and define really informative little chunks, short little clips of these special guests where they share their expertise, they answer questions, and they resolve concerns. I'm going to be posting those with our technical guy, Nate's help. We'll get those onto our YouTube channel where you guys can then share it with your distributors and with your potential customers. So be watching out for those. All right. You know, if this is your first time on our call, I want to welcome you out. Thanks so much for joining us. Let us know this is the first time and who invited you down in the chat for this call. And to our distributors, just make sure that you write the name of the person in attendance. Just a quick reminder for you. Now let's move on to our next little part. You know, it's the end of the month. We're feeling it. We're excited. Some of us are feeling, oh, am I going to make it? And you know what? We're here to help you out. We're here to help you stay motivated. We're here to help you feel empowered as you pursue your goals. So I want to remind you of two special things that we have going on. The first being our May promo. That is the Amora set. When you place a reorder of 200 plus PV, you'll get a complete Amora set absolutely free. It's the chance to earn free product. You know, everyone loves free, but it's also a good way for you to show and to give people samples of what it is that ACTIVZ does. Help people understand that these products work. Let's see. As well, we also want to remind you that we have our 500 club open again for this quarter. That means that you got to complete 10 distributor enrollments in the 90 days of this quarter, okay? With a minimum of 200 PV. This quarter is going to end on July 31st. Keep that in mind. And when you've finished up, when you've gotten those 10, you will have qualified for the 500 club. Keep yourself focused on that goal. A lot of times towards the end of the month, we start feeling a little bit discouraged, and it's okay to acknowledge that. In the end, it's where we keep our focus. Where do we want to go? Where are our goals at? There are things that we can influence, that we can choose every day to influence the success of these outcomes. All right. Angie, do you have any other comments?
Yeah, with the 500 club, I just want to add a clarification. If you've qualified before, you're not exempt from qualifying again. So the 500 club started in May. So you have May, June, and July. This is open for anyone, any distributor. You just need to enroll 10 distributors within that time frame, May, June, and July, and you'll be qualified for the 500 club, which means you'll earn $500 or an iPad, and it's your choice. And with the end of the month, this is the time that you guys need to be closing your business. So using these promotions with the Amora promotion and also the 500 club, this is a great time to help close. We're at the last week of May. We've had an exceptional month and we want to keep this going. So be sure, a really good tip is look back at your organization and find people that have ordered before that haven't ordered in May, and reach out to them and find out why they didn't order. Maybe they forgot, maybe they had an issue with their credit card, maybe they are not as interested in the products, and find out why. Talk to them and find out what is going on, or get them to place their order. So this is the perfect time, and I'm just going to share my screen. Unfortunately, my test account, it doesn't have any data set up in it, so I can't show you guys exactly how this works, but I'm just going to share my screen really quick and walk you through how you can see who has ordered or who hasn't ordered for the month. So in your back office, this is just a screenshot of what your back office would look like. So in your back office, at the top here, there is a section called My Team. My Team is your entire organization. So this is going to give you all of their information, including their email, their phone number, their name, their ID number. Just about everything you need to know about your organization is in this little section here. This doesn't list any people because I just had to pull a screenshot to show you guys what it looks like. But the titles at the top of the report are all sortable. So if you click on PV, and for those of you that are new, PV is personal volume. So this is what their personal volume is for the month. If you click on PV, it will sort it, and it will sort it either from the largest to the smallest, or the smallest to the largest. So if we're trying to find people that haven't ordered this month, then we're going to sort them from the smallest to the largest. If you click on it and you see numbers, then you just need to click on it one more time to resort it to the smallest to the largest. And then go down each person one by one and figure out why they haven't placed their order for the month. You will also be able to see their OV. So if you have anyone that's in your organization that might be close to rank advancing, this is another great way to see like who's close to hitting that rank, or who has volume that hasn't placed an order, so they're missing out on being able to hit a rank so that they can earn commissions. So again, since it's sortable, you can click on OV and then sort it from the largest to the smallest and look to see who has OV within your group, and then contact those that don't have orders, or contact those that are close to hitting their rank. Your focus really should be on getting the people underneath you to rank advance. If you help them rank advance, they're more likely to stay within the business, but it just helps your business as well. But you really should be focusing on helping people rank advance and then finding people that have not ordered, especially since we are at the last week of the month. So I just wanted to share that really quick with you. And with the people that haven't ordered, there's a good chance that they're not aware of the May promotion that we have going on. And the May promotion is phenomenal. I mean, a full set of Amora for purchasing $200 worth of product, it's an amazing deal. And this is a great chance for, like Dale said, share the product with those that haven't tried the product before. And if you do share it with someone that hasn't tried the product before, talk to them about before and after pictures, because they can get some pretty incredible results using Amora within a fairly short time frame. I know when Trish used a product, she saw results with using Amora within 7 days. She took photos before she started using the product at 7 days and at 14 days. Her results are incredible. I had the same type of results. I didn't take photos until 45 days, and I was blown away about what I saw, the improvements in my complexion. So make sure if people haven't used Amora, talk to them about taking before and after photos so that they can see the results that they're having as well. So I covered a lot in my little segment, but end of month, get your orders in. Make sure you contact the people that haven't ordered. Take advantage of our promotions, 500 Club, the full set of Amora, and let's close the month strong. So Dale, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Sure. Quick question, actually, that someone just dropped in the chat. And Yolanda, thank you so much for dropping that. She's asking is if ACTIVZ company offices, corporate offices are going to be open on Monday, Memorial Day. What's that?
I guess being off mute would help. So yes, yeah, we are extending our call center hours for Friday, and then we're also extending our call center hours on Monday. So we won't have as many agents working on Monday. We're splitting our agents between Friday and Monday, so that half of them are taking Friday off, half of them are taking Monday off. But we are open on Monday, even though it's Memorial Day. And we will be open from 8 a.m. Mountain Time until 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then the same hours will be open on Friday. So we're extending our call center hours on Friday and then also on Monday to help you guys close the month.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. I'm excited. This is where we get to the nitty gritty of these calls. I've had the opportunity to chat with our next guest in preparation for this call to share some thoughts about how it is that we can improve our techniques, improve our marketing for what it is that we do at ACTIVZ with our own home businesses. So I'd like to turn some time over to Julia Prather to help us out and teach us, learn us something good. Miss Julia, how are you?
Hi, thank you, Dale. I'm doing well. So just to start out real quick, this is my 26th entrepreneurship type business. And in that, the one thing I said, because I swore I'd never do this again, the one thing that my partners and I had stated, if we ever did this, that we needed to do things differently. We needed to have a completely different approach, and we didn't want to do the same old way things had been done, for years. And not that it's not good, not that it doesn't work, but understand that we had completely tapped out our warm market, and we knew we also needed to find a way to make our cold market a warm market. And so in that, we created the Art of Activation, and our vision behind Art of Activation was to reach as many people as possible and to help them in the best way we knew how, and to make sure that they understood that they didn't have to suffer needlessly the way that I had for so long. And so this was our real driving force, and where the real passion kind of started. And so we felt that in order to be relevant and current, we needed to take things to social media and do social media marketing and target marketing. And we put our heads together. I did lots of praying. I still do lots of praying. And this is gonna sound probably crazy, but you know, for those who are spiritually minded, I kept having these visions and these dreams that were coming to me. And I kept seeing myself going live all the time on Facebook. And I was just like, and if you know anything about me, you know that even this right here, like if you knew my hand, I'm not a clammy person, but my hands are sweaty right now. Okay. So I don't do very well public speaking, even though it might seem like I handle it well. So with that, I just was like, God, are you serious? You know, was my thought process. And so I take it to my team. I'm telling them, look, this is what I really feel we need to do. And they agreed. And so, you know, there became the art of activation. And we just kind of hit the ground running. We, let's see, everywhere we looked, everything we researched stated that this is how people were, this is the kind of the direction that the world's going. COVID really has opened this for us, it like nobody's business. I mean, it kind of forced us into this direction, if you will. There is no having a coffee with somebody at the store or, you know, the local, you know, coffee shop or, you know, Denny's, like all that's gone. There's no meetings at hotels. I mean, you can't even get a hot breakfast anymore at a hotel, you know, that like all the amenities are closed down. So it's just kind of, this kind of has forced us into this situation. So in some aspects, it made it really easy for us. And in other aspects, it was, this is still kind of an untapped market to like, what do we do? How do we do this? Where are we going really? You know, what does this really look like and feel like? And what types of things do we need to do? And so we knew we needed to stand out and change. So one of the thought processes was we wanted a diverse team, and we started thinking about, well, what are our attributes? What are the qualities? Who brings what to the table? And how can we improve this? And you know, who can we add? Because we never want to discriminate, right? We always want to make sure that we open this to everybody and we meet people where they're at. However, there's also much to be said about those who, you know, definitely have qualities and attributes that will amplify and you know, accelerate things and make things just run better and smoother. So looking at our situation, I was the perfect tool because I was 100% broken. I mean, I couldn't be more broken than I was, unless, you know, I was like actually in a hospital bed or something. But so we deemed me as like the person who would be the face of Art of Activation. And and we did this before knowing I was actually going to get well, and before I actually knew I was going to lose weight. And so I put myself out there 100% and just like threw caution to the wind and was like, okay, you know, God, if you're there listening and then this is what you're telling me to do, you know, we're going for this, we're going to do it, and just believe that and have the faith that things were going to work out. Not that I'm saying that anyone should do it that way, but I'm just letting you know, this was our kind of journey. And so my brain, hold on a second. My brain was going faster than my mouth was moving. Okay, so there we go. So anyway, it ended up turning out for the benefit because they are able to still go with me, and I'm still in this process. This is going to be a long process. If you know any part of my medical history at all, or any of the things that I've put out there, even just so far, there's a lot that I'm struggling with and that I'm going through daily. And so people want you to be real. People want you to be relatable. People want to be able to connect with you on a personal level. They want to feel the same types of emotions. And if there's something that they connect with, and there's something for everyone. And that's the one thing that as we were studying and learning this, there's one of the sites that we went to that we found a lot of information from that really helped us. If anyone wanted to write this down, is socialtenacity.com. And they really go over the do's and the don'ts of social marketing, and just really kind of put things into today's perspective and how to stay relevant, and how to go from now and run. And how to target the market that you want. So that's pretty much all I have besides technical stuff that I can go over real quick. I'm not sure, do I have time, Dale? Am I running out of time yet?
You have another 4 minutes. So if you have maybe, I know that most of us are familiar with things like Facebook, Instagram, and all of that. So let's push that. As you're thinking about utilizing social media, let's just talk to the people for a minute who are nervous about creating a group online. What's some word of counsel? Maybe not the technical, but what's some word of counsel to help people kind of ease those worries about starting a group like Art of Active?
The fears, oh my goodness, I still have fears. I have to have my sister and my best friend, who are my partners, talk to me every day before I get on, and like go through this so that I can, be who I need to be and get through. So the number one thing is you need to have a friend, whoever that is. I've even had my husband like on the other side of the camera, just being goofy to keep me, focused and real and laughable, and just because people want to see the reality. They don't want a stuffed shirt. They don't want it to look perfect, because then it makes you unattainable. It means that they have to be that way. And so if you don't have some bloopers or screw ups and things like that along the way, it makes it unreachable or unattainable for them. And that's not what they want.
That's excellent advice. Thank you so much. So if I may, I'm going to hit on a couple other topics just in review from what I've picked up. And I'm sure that everyone has picked on some little tidbits here and there for what they're planning on and what will work for their business. But I know that for me, one of the things that really hit me hard was faith. And Julia, you mentioned faith as part of your mantra, your own system. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being able to say that you do believe in a higher power, in God, or in whatever it is you feel will help base you and help you achieve what it is you're aiming for. I am with you on that. I do believe that there is a higher power. And I know that as I do act in faith, not just in belief, there's a difference between belief and faith. Yes. Belief is acknowledging an idea. Faith is acting on what that knowledge, what that idea does for you.
Sure.
So that's where
absolutely.
I come from.
And so some other tidbits that I'll just take from this. The purpose of social media marketing is to increase your brand or company awareness and to promote a particular product, which we do, as well as being personal. There is no such thing as a single target market, because everyone is your target market. So that's a key thing to remember. And let's see, engagement. So no matter what social media platform you use, you have to engage, and you have to do it quickly. So this is key. It's one of those things you can't put off for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Can't do it next week or next year. If you're going to do it, you have to be committed, and you got to do it now.
So you say engagement. If I can clarify one thing, and then actually I would like to shift, but let's capitalize on this engagement aspect.
Sure. Sure.
I think it's a really important topic too for social media, for those that are interested in delving into this for their own business. How would you describe engagement? What is that?
I think it's finding that thing that ties you to what's personal, that at least that's what it has been working for us. We found something relatable. I mean, my story, my situation, that's what we use for the engagement part, and then putting the products into perspective with it. That's the way that, and caring about others, not being the next, car salesman approach. Nobody wants to be sold to. Like, nobody wants the what's the word I'm trying to think of? So nobody wants to be sold to in that aspect. They want it genuine and real, you know what I mean? And so if they feel that, you're the next person that's targeting them for something, they're going to run. So you're going to, lose your audience versus get an audience.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, totally. Yeah. So if I understand correctly, and I'm kind of throwing in my understanding of engagement as well, it's this idea of what it is that you bring to the table that keeps your audience invested in you.
Yes.
So whether that's the product, whether that's the changes that you're seeing with using the ACTIVZ product, that is part of your engagement strategy, you could call. Is that fair in saying?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, you know what? I would love to continue picking your brain. And you know what? We've talked a little bit more about this. For everyone else's information, we're going to be visiting with Julia and a couple other speakers in our next ACTIVZ school happening next month. Okay, I'll just throw in a little plug for next month. It's the second Saturday in June. So mark that on your calendars. I'm super excited to continue to I eat this stuff up all day. That's why I have to cut myself off now. So Julia, thank you so much for your time. That's awesome insight. I've got my notes here. I'll be able to start replicating that for myself. And yeah, I feel like she did a good job. You give her some applause, silent applause, literal applause, whatever you feel like you want to do. Show her some love.
Thank you, Dan.
You know what? As we round, go ahead.
Oh, I was say shout out to Julie and Sherry. I know you guys have been working really hard, especially with your art and activation. You guys have done an incredible job. I love seeing you out there. Something that a lot of our speakers have talked about is in order to become a leader, you need to get out there and present. And I just want to congratulate you, Julie. I know that going on Facebook Live is really hard. And I know that coming on these calls and talking is really hard. You did a great job, and it shows that you're taking the steps to become one of our great leaders. So thank you for jumping on the call and sharing what you've learned so far.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Angie.
All right, everyone, I'm super excited. We're going to be closing off our meeting today, hearing from our very own David Brown. And then we have, for those that have stuck around and have listened in and have paid attention, taken good notes, we have a special surprise for you to wind up the end of this particular session. So, Mr. David, how are you?
Great, thanks. I'm glad you didn't immediately go to me after Julia was talking about bloopers and screw ups. I wouldn't like that transition directly to me, although it is applicable many times. It's great to see everybody today. Some of the things that Julia talked about are on the top of my mind. It really is about belief. I don't know about this book, Social Tenacity, but I do know something about tenacity and about being determined, and that you want to really accomplish something. And the biggest way to, or the best way to do that is to truly develop this belief. And that belief can start with something very small. Going back to Dr. Patel, I can tell you that originally when we invited him to the advisory board, as I mentioned, he does have a background in turmeric and curcumin culturally, but he's a Western trained physician. And he was pretty skeptical, as he talked about last night, about the effectiveness of our products and these types of products. But through his own personal experiences as well as research, and I think the personal experience is actually more important than the research. He could read the research and he could intellectually understand that there are hundreds of thousands of studies on turmeric and curcumin. But until he actually tried Optimend, he didn't have a personal belief that it was going to be as effective as it was in dealing with his back pain, so that he doesn't have to gobble down handfuls of ibuprofen and acetaminophen. It's almost that thing about physician heal thyself, right? He knows that those NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, are very tough on the stomach. He knows all about how pain relieving drugs are highly addictive. And yet, that's kind of what he was trained to do. And now he has a strong belief that's really unshakable in terms of the benefits of Optimend. I can tell you that Julia, with some of her recent weight loss, her recent improvements in health. She has a real story to be able to tell people about her belief in the products. And so, you know, it reminds me, a lot of you know that previously many of us were involved in LifeVantage, and it was a great success story. We took that that company that was a small company from 3 million to over $200 billion in just a few years in revenue. But you know, before that, I was a CEO of a company called Metabolife, which was actually quite a bit bigger than LifeVantage. It was an over $500 million company. And they actually pioneered something. It wasn't my idea, but they pioneered something that's actually quite common now. And it was a weight loss company. And what they did was they were one of the first ones to utilize radio personalities to endorse their products. And how they did it was by giving them the product. Ever since they banned smoking in radio stations in a lot of buildings, these radio personalities would be in their booths for their shift of 3 or 4 hours, and they'd spend a lot of time eating, and they gained weight. And so what Metabolife did was they would give them product, and then they would engage in a weight loss challenge and have them talk about it on air. Now, they were being paid for this, but because they were truly losing weight, it came across as though it was simply something that they were excited to share because they really were excited about losing weight. We know how all of us are when we lose weight, and if somebody or have something else going on with our health or our appearance, and somebody comments on it, it really makes us feel good about ourselves. In fact, you mentioned, some of you that were on the call last night, you heard Dr. Patel, and it was kind of fun to watch him. You know, he's a very down-to-earth guy. But when he talked about the head golf pro commenting on how young he looked, right, and how great his skin looked, I mean, that was just, it was kind of funny, right? It's kind of cute to see that. And so all of us enjoy those compliments. But what happens is that when that happens, and we're sharing these real life experiences, it gets to what Julia was just talking about. Nobody likes to be sold, and nobody wants to feel like they're a salesperson. But when you're just sharing something with somebody else, that's an entirely different story. And when they can actually see the change that's occurred in you, it's amazing how your cold market goes to a warm market, and how your warm market goes to a hot market, because people want to know, what is it that you did? You look different, you act different. And so really sharing that belief is pretty incredible. When she talked about this 26th time in entrepreneurship, I thought that really is the definition of an entrepreneur, someone who wants to keep going. It reminded me, and tenacity. It reminded me of something, another famous failure, Abraham Lincoln said. A lot of you are saying, what are you talking about, famous failure? Well, yeah, until he became president of the United States, he'd failed a lot more often than he had succeeded. You know, he'd failed in business, he'd failed in many elections, he'd suffered a nervous breakdown at an early age. But you know, one thing that he talked that I thought that was really interesting is a quote that he said, that my biggest concern is not whether you failed, but whether you're content with your failure. That's the danger, is if we're content with our lack of success, that's where it really shows through, and we're not probably going to succeed and accomplish the things that we'd like to. So, you know, I don't know a lot about social media. The last thing a lot of you saw was the hairpiece I had on my head in the form of a monkey, and that's the last hairpiece I'll ever have on my head. And so I don't do a lot of posting for that reason and other things. In fact, my daughter, when I posted something about her for her birthday, told me that I am banned from posting on social media because she was embarrassed by some of the pictures that I posted. I thought they were great, but she wasn't too thrilled with all of them. So I don't know whether social media is the way that all of you is the path to success. But what I do know is that sharing what we have, sharing your experience, whether that's personally and directly, one-on-one, whether that's over the telephone, whether that's via social media, I do know that is the important thing. And sharing the story that you have, you know, and you might say, well, who do I share it with? Well, you could ask yourself questions like this. Who do I know that needs extra money? Who do I know that is dealing with a health condition? Well, that might narrow it down a little bit too much. We might know a lot of people who really aren't that interested in the work required to make extra money. We don't want to think that our products are just suitable for people who are sick. So maybe we expand the question. How many people do we know that really want to have their bodies operate at their full potential? Well, that's a lot of people. Or how about this one? How many people do we know that are dealing with inflammation? Guess what the answer to that question is? No matter who you are, 100%. Every single person that you know with the exception maybe of some newborn babies and some small children. Maybe they're not dealing with too much inflammation. Everybody else is dealing with inflammation, whether they know about it or not. And it's taking a toll upon their bodies and upon their health that will subsequently be revealed. And so from that standpoint, it really opens the circle of influence and the potential people that you can talk to. Now, of course, it might be a little bit difficult. On the other hand, again, somebody that we don't think of as being a failure, Einstein. Do you know that Albert Einstein didn't even speak fluently in any language? German was his native language, but in any language until he was 9 years old. He really couldn't speak very well, okay? He failed out. We know that he had F's in some of his early years, right? But he actually flunked out and wasn't admitted to some colleges even in his late teens. And now we know we recognize him as being one of the foremost geniuses of the 20th century. And so what he said is that he said success is actually failure in progress. And so I kind of like that, you know, because we are probably going to fall more times than we would like to. The real key is, are we going to get back up again? When somebody tells us no, are we going to move on and go to the next person? That's really the key. And so your personal determination, your personal tenacity, your personal belief in the products and what they can do for other people is going to drive your behavior. And the fact that you're taking time out of your day today is a great success. That's, you know, consider yourself having done something to build your business successfully today. And also consider the fact that you are part of a team. These people, these frames, these Brady Bunch pictures in front of you, some of you are not even old enough to remember that reference, but the rest of us do. The rest of us, you know, this Brady Bunch family that we have here at ACTIVZ, they're all people that are just like you. And they're just like you in the sense that they want better health for themselves. They want better health for others. They want a business opportunity. They want to improve, and they like the group that they're part of. And you're part of that as well. And so there's a lot of people out there that are looking for what you already have the benefit of. And so don't get discouraged when they tell you no. Don't get discouraged if they tell you hell no. Just keep going. And I can tell you that there will be some in that group that will say, thank you. We appreciate it. And so I want to say thank you for all of you who are participating today. Julia, in particular, I know it's not easy to put yourself out there in front of everybody, and you did a wonderful job. So thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Dale and Angie, back to you guys. And Hunter. We don't want to forget about Hunter.
He looks like a little snuggle bug right now, little cutie. All right. What a good session today. Thanks so much for joining us. As our thank you for sticking around and for taking good notes, we want to do a raffle. So whenever you're ready, Angie, there we go. Let's spin that wheel and see what we've got. Woo! That is awesome. Good for you. All right, Judy, if you would, go ahead.
ID number, yeah, add your ID number into the chat, and we'll get you your reward points added onto your account.
Awesome.
Congratulations, Judy.
Thank you. So I added into the chat. I'm looking for
Yes.
oh, there we go. So I need my ID. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Hope you have a fantastic afternoon or pre-noon or basically noon. I'm not sure where everyone is right now. We need to do that once in a while just to remind ourselves where we are in the world. It's so cool. All right. I think the furthest one out is Stu, but I think he popped out for a little bit. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in.
Hey, everybody.